4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
This is KBCC 89.5 FM, Tracy, California, Peace and Justice Network of San Joaquin.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS The Voice of Stockton or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Radio show.
Kimberly Warmsley.
Radio show. Radio show.
Filling the community one conversation at a time. I am Kimberly Warmsley. County. It's your girl, Kimberly Warmsley, here at the Voice of Stockton, the Voice of San Joaquin. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So before we get into this very long overdue conversation about violence in the community and what we can do as community members to step to the forefront and lead not only conversations about ending gun violence and crime and fatalities, but also to come up with some concrete solutions, strategies and plans to address this issue. So before we get in, I would like us all to take a moment to honor those brave men and women who sacrificed their lives in the military to protect and serve this country. I don't want to say Happy Memorial Day. I want to just recognize that today is Memorial Day, and we need to pay respect to those who have sacrificed their ultimate lives. I know to the left of me, Mr. Jerome Clay is a former Marine?
No, I'm Air Force.
Air Force. So I know that this day resonates with you, for your colleagues and brothers and sisters who were in the military who have lost their lives. So take a few minutes to just pay homage through some silence and respect. Thank you, everyone. So good morning again. It's your girl Kimberly coming to you live. Today is a long and anticipated conversation that I think is long overdue, something that has resonated in my heart for some time. And so I wanted to reach out to the community. It's two people in particular, to the left of me, my friend Jerome Clay, who's an inspiring attorney in the community who has worked in the forefront with this population of people who have inflicted crime against another. I know that he also does work with the NAACP as a second vice chair. He does a lot of prevention with the children and youth in the community to work with preventative measures and mentoring and guiding children who are at times lacking positive mentorship. Good morning, Jerome, and thank you for joining in, and definitely thank you for listening.
Okay. Hey, good morning. Hey, first off, we heard that, I don't know if you got to hear it, but her little jingle. Oh yeah. Man, it's off the hook. I don't know where she stole that Let's Talk About It from, but we can talk about that. And then also, you got to see these water bottles. Remember last time I was on, she had those plastic cups or whatever she had. Now she just stepped it up with water. And then she got a quote in the back that says, "Your entire existence defines your purpose, destiny, and vision." Now she done stepped it up to water, cups.
Step your game up.
You know, so she's stepping up on the live Kimberly show.
Step your game up.
Love to see your progress. You taking the show to another level, especially with this water. And I like the logo. So
all right.
Just glad to be here today.
Thank you, Jerome. Thank you for everything
Safe to drink too.
Thank you for everything you do. And your humor is very, it never disappoints. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. To the right of me, I have a person who growing up has always stepped to the plate to talk about these issues. He is, I don't want to say he's an inspiring artist because I believe that he is an artist. And he's also an advocate and mentor in the community. He's done a lot of work with youth programs and sports programs and really focusing on kids who are I don't want to say disadvantaged, but children who need positive mentorships. And so Mr. Jonathan Davis is to the right of, is my right? Yeah, that's my right. He's to the right of me this morning, and we're going to be talking about this issue. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's talk about what's going on with our youth. Let's talk about what's not going on with our youth. Thank you for spending your Memorial morning with us this morning.
Okay, no problem. Good morning, everybody that's tuned in, watching. I appreciate you having me on. This is a very big topic for me because, like you said, I've been stepping up and trying to push unity and stopping the violence for quite some time now.
Right.
And I took a little time off, but it's the time, the calling was now to get back in it and help make a change in my city.
Absolutely. So, hey, let's talk about it. So this morning, like I said, we've been talking about this issue for quite some time and bringing a platform to the community to talk about violence. This morning, waking up, another fatality happened. When I woke up, it was one person was deceased in a incident where 4 victims were fatally shot in the area of Oak Street, downtown Stockton-ish. The day before that, another fatality happened on Hammer Lane. And, one of the incidents really, a few. How do you keep up with this, right? No longer are we talking about adults. Now we are talking about children. We were talking about children and youth that are being victimized. They're losing their lives. We're talking about the impact of guns. We're talking about the lack of interventions, the lack of support. We can have like a year of this conversation every week and talk about something new. Just wanting to share with the community and the persons everyone who's watching something that resonated with me this morning. We're going to start with this. Over 393 million registered guns throughout the United States. Now, these are just guns that are registered. So I bring this up because this is what we can count. This does not include the guns that are just lingering in the streets that are unaccounted for. So 393 million guns, which are enough for every man, woman, and child to have a gun and still have 67 million left over. The United States only makes up 4% of the world's population. However, the United States makes up over 46% of the registered guns in the world. This is coming from the Washington Post 2019 article.
Numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie. What did Jay-Z say? Women lie, men lie, but numbers do not lie.
Yeah, but and I keep hearing this all the time that you have all these guns. But guns don't kill people. People kill people. And that's just a mechanism to kill. They can make a bomb and they can blow up. They can get knives and so if a person wants to kill, it doesn't matter what they use. So we can blame the NRA. We can blame the guns. And so I think this is why we having such a problem, because we're not really blaming the source. We're saying, oh my God, we have 343 million guns, and so that's the problem. So if we ban the guns, it's going to stop the crime. No. They're going to find other ways to kill. You had, I think in London, where someone had a vehicle, and he started a car and ran through people. So then now that we ban vehicles, you have people that will send an anthrax to the mail. So what do? We ban anthrax. If a person wants to kill, then he's going to
find a
kill.
way.
So we have to address the issue and not say, oh, it's guns the issues or it's this is the issue. Because if they want to kill,
They're gonna
believe
do
you
it.
me, they're going to kill.
And I think that it's not just the amount, I'm talking about the access. So the access that we are allowing, people have more access to guns than that of a book at the library. People have access to, instruments that are impactful to others than that of an intervention, of that of a solution, of that of anything that is going to be beneficial for change. And so let's talk about what is needed right now, currently in our community to address these issues, because it's not just about the gun or the vehicle to kill. I mean, as a licensed clinical therapist, sometimes I think about what goes on in the mindset of people.
But to bounce off you both, even like he was saying with the guns, and you say it's the access. But even still, with what he was saying, even if you dim the access to them, they're gonna find there's access to knives. You go right in the kitchen and get a knife. You can go to any corner and get a car. So there's still gonna be problems. So this solution, I believe, is we gotta value and cherish life more. That's why we having people kill other people, and
Absolutely.
they don't cherish their own life. So why would they
Absolutely.
care about yours? So, and that's what kept me above waters. When I was out there in the streets, I was raised good, and I never wanted to kill nobody. That's not what was raised in me. And so I took that, and I cherish life, and I try to breathe life in the street and not death. So we got to get to having people care about life, their own life first, and then they start caring about others' lives. Because when you go and you shoot and you do a drive-by, you don't care about nobody's life,
Right.
really. You just shooting.
And I think that, and it's so true, the mindset, the mentality that people do or do not have. I think that the foundation that we're building for our youth is so different than what I think that we're all within the same age range, what we had when we were growing up. Like,
You know the difference?
we're not teaching people to value their themselves first. You
Yeah.
got to love yourself first before you can even value someone else's life. You got to value your own life, and we're missing the mark on that.
Well, I don't think so much missing the mark. This I think it starts here, and this is even the Bible says it: spoil the child, or spoil the rod, spoil the child. So I remember growing up, and you look at my generation or generations prior, the parents just take that belt to that backside, and so
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that we should implement, weapons,
Yeah, that's
but
a
it's something to
whole-
be said about discipline, and so I think it starts at the home. I think society is getting such to where you have to be your child's friend versus their parents.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of these kids now, they talk to their parents like they're talking to
To
their
a
friends.
friend.
Exactly.
And so, and because they don't get no discipline, I think then they start, well, I can go shoot this. They don't value it, because if right now, if my daughter was to disrespect me, I'm not going to hit her, but I'm going to let her know, like, look, this is disrespectful. You're not talking to me like this. I've seen so many kids talk to their parents so disrespectful, and they just talk to them like they're friends, and I'm like, where does this come from? And even at school now, they're taking teachers, they're tying teachers' hands. Teachers can't discipline, right? They're saying if the child is disrespectful, you got to take it. I seen where a child was just going after the teacher, hit the teacher, and the teacher fought back on the child because he just couldn't take it no more.
Yeah.
And so we're crippling teachers. They can't discipline. They can't say anything. We're crippling principals. We're crippling superintendents. So I think it's having an effect because we're not disciplining these kids now.
And I want to bounce off that because that's a part of my upbringing. My mom didn't play. I got whooped. So I didn't make a lot of wrong decisions in life because I always thought if my mama find out it's a wrap. She gonna tear my butt up. You know, I hung with friends that made wrong decisions. Hey, y'all go ahead. I'm gonna stay back here. Y'all cool. Y'all got cool mamas that's gonna let y'all. That's gonna come get y'all. But my mama told me, you do the crime, you gonna do the time.
Yes.
I'm not getting on that stand lying for you.
Yes.
So that's what she installed in me.
Yes.
From an early age. So we don't have that tough love parenting anymore. We have, like you said, everybody got to be their kid's friend. They want to, your child shouldn't feel comfortable coming to you, telling you, Dad, I smoke weed.
No.
My son better fear that I don't find out. And people think, oh, you want to leave that door open so they feel comfortable? No, I don't agree with that. You know, I'm going to stop it and continue on. And that was in a situation with like my little brother when he was younger, where I found him trying to sell drugs out my mama's house.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fight. Right. I put hands and feet on my little brother and said, you're not going to disrespect my mama's house like this. And, you know, and I helped, and he caught on, and he quit doing that.
Right.
So we need more leaders and more people to lead by example, and, you know.
Setting standards, accountability, and again, when we talk about the mindset isn't just, you know, you wake up and you have that mindset. People need to have positive mentorships and people who are able to verbalize that, who are able to talk to these kids, who are able to set those values. Because, you know, luckily we had individuals who could do that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of kids who don't have parents who, you know, sometimes the parents are checked out. Sometimes the parents don't have the capacity or the ability to provide that upbringing. You know, for me, I grew up, and I tell you, the fear of my grandparents still is in me.
Extension cords.
And they dead. You know, the fear is still in me. And so we were taught, you know, people always compliment me like, you're very well spoken, you really write good, and blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I didn't have no choice. I said, we used to get spankings.
Yeah, my mama.
We used to have.
My mom is 5'3".
Yeah.
My mom is 5'3", and everybody that know me know I'll fight a bear. But I don't mess with my mama. That's one person I don't mess with, you know, because she installed that. She put that fear in me early. Put that fear in me. And kids ain't scared of their parents no more these days.
No.
See how we going on? We got a whole new topic going on like this because it's all this in one. It's a pot. It ain't, you know, it ain't just with. Yeah, putting the guns down. It's a whole pot, and we gotta get that pot going.
It starts from home. It starts from home. And I tell you, we are our teachers first. We are our children's first teachers. Right. And we need to be installing that. I mean, Jerome hear me talking to my kids all the time. And I pop up to the school. I talk to the teachers. I'm like, I tell people all the time, I am the pop in the Rice Krispie treats, the snap, crackle, pop, because I'm a pop up in that school. And, you know, and sometimes even when I'm like redirecting my kids, sometimes them other kids get, you know, they check themselves too and start, oh, Miss Kimberly is here. Let me check myself. Like, really, we are talking about violence. We are talking about the loss of lives. However, these conversations need to go beneath this radio station. This needs to go through the channels of people, of parents to their children. And if you have time, reach back. You know, the other day, me and Jerome was having a conversation, and Jerome was listing all these kids that he was mentoring. Now, Jerome only got one. I mean, I'm sorry, Jerome, if I'm like throwing your business out. He only has one daughter. Right. And this man has like 15 kids. Right. He's mentoring. Right. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Some things Jerome says I might side eye him. I'm like, okay, here you go. But I will always respect the fact that he's trying to pull up 15 other kids with him.
And one's your cousin, right?
And one's my cousin. And I didn't even know that until the other day. Right. But reaching back to pull another kid up. Like when you are mentoring, you're mentoring a whole entire football team and for years.
And it takes effect too. And they look up to you. I still have parents call me to this day of kids that I coached 5 years ago. Can you talk to Whoopty Wop? Because he listens to you. Right. I'm having issues with him. And a lot of these kids don't have father figures at home. I started coaching football, putting my son in it. And they needed an extra coach. I said, okay, I'll volunteer. nothing serious. And they said, oh, we need you to be head coach.
Right.
So I did that first year, and I fell in love with it. I mean, I got to bond with my son, more time with my son, but I also just fell in love with being an inspiration and a mentor to these young kids.
It is so real.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch back on something real quick so it don't get misconstrued or anything. When we say tough love and install that fear in your kids, we don't necessarily mean whoop them. You know, sometimes they don't even take that. It takes the voice. I had a nephew where just my voice would get him to act right. They would say, oh, I'm going to call Uncle Johnny. And he would straighten up just by his own mama had to use that slogan. It was like a slogan around my house. Oh, I'm going to kill Uncle Johnny. I'm going to call Uncle Johnny. And he immediately, and I never touched my nephew. It's just the fear in the voice. And,
right.
And you install that in them. They know you're not playing.
Especially from a young age. So, I live with a couple of my family members. We live together. And I remember recently, my cousin, his son, it was funny because he said he had took him to school, and his son jumped out the car and said, okay, I got it, and chill out, right? And my cousin said, you are so fortunate that your principal was there because I would have got on you. So we at the house, he said, don't you ever talk to me like that. He goes, I'm not your bro. Right. I'm not your cousin. I'm not your blood. I'm your dad, and you treat me with respect. And that's something that I would tell my daughter growing up. She would slam doors, and she would pout. I said, no, we're not doing this. I said, we have a father-daughter relationship, and I'm going to instill in you good principles. And so growing up, every time she would pout, I would get on her. And I never hit my daughter, but I would talk to her. And I think the problem is parents now, they let it go or they laugh. And then they allow them. See, kids keep pushing. So they'll come home and they say, Mom, I hate you. Oh, I hate you too. Then they say, Mom, you a B. Oh, well, you a B too. They keep pushing. They keep pushing the boundaries. And what happens when they get all this freedom, well, now they don't have no discipline. What makes a kid wake up in the morning, dressed in black, get guns, and run to a school and shoot up schools? Or what makes a kid who just gets out and starts shooting people? There's no discipline. There's no fear. They don't care about anything else.
My question is how the parents didn't know their kid had a gun.
They're not
you
looking.
Know, they're not looking. They don't do room checks. They don't do phone checks. They don't do none of that. And as a parent, that's what you have to do. You have to stay on top of it. I do phone checks. Yeah. I do room checks. I do Facebook checks. You want social media? I need passwords.
There you go.
So that's the upbringing you have to. That's how you have to be these days.
I do grade checks. And I got my daughter's grade checks for her grades. I do grades, and I stay on them grades.
So it's about setting limits and setting boundaries and talking to your kids. I think that sometimes as parents, we are so involved about getting to work on time or going to Starbucks and getting our coffee or, whatever. And I'm not saying that those things are not okay. What I'm saying is that you have to set a priority to start talking to your children.
Absolutely.
Because if we're not talking to our children as parents, then the streets are talking to our kids. And that needs to stop happening. As I've been a therapist for over 10 years now, probably even longer than that. I don't want to speak my age, but I will say this. We, sometimes as parents, we put our faith in our kids in the wrong way. Now, I'm not dissing putting your kids in sports. I'm not dissing that at all, because that's actually good. It helps regulate your emotions and your feelings when you're out on that track or you're out on that football. It makes them feel good. However, illiteracy and lack of ability to prepare kids to have jobs. Not everybody needs to go to college. Not everybody's going to go to college, but we need to at least be instilling, entrepreneurship or vocational training in our kids. There are not enough conversations about access to children and youth to prepare themselves for the future, because poverty is everything. Poverty is everything.
What you just said, and I think about this. So I think another issue too. I think parenting is one issue. I think another issue, like she says, literacy. I remember the person you love to death, and you rock "Step in the Name of Love," and you rock 12 Play and all that. He said, I know you love him. He said he can't read, right? All this money. But just think about this: if R. Kelly can't read, right? Because he said he got served, he didn't understand.
And he has millions.
Floyd Mayweather
can't read,
right? And he has millions.
Right.
So what happens? There's a lot of kids like R. Kelly there's a lot of kids like Floyd. They just don't have God-given ability, or they don't have boxing skills. They don't, even if they can sing, only so many singers are going to make it. Only so many artists are going to come up. So you have this individual who can't read, who hates school,
Right.
who only can do is rap or box, and now his career's not going nowhere. What's he going to do?
Right.
What's he gonna do?
No skills.
No skills.
To hold a job.
Right.
Can't read or write. Because, have you guys, look at the illiteracy rate.
Yeah.
Look at the
Yeah,
illiteracy.
bad.
It's amazing. It's so sad.
So what
And,
they gonna do?
I know both of you guys have been my Facebook friends forever. I always post, spend 20 minutes a night with your kids reading. 20 minutes a night can excel a reading level in a year. My daughter is in first grade. She's at almost a fourth grade reading level. Why? Because this is what we instill. We are not valuing education. Where in other countries, I know when I had my international son, my host son from Thailand, he said they start learning algebra in kindergarten.
Parents push that.
Parents push that.
Reading. And I know for my daughter, she was in school in the summer. They gave her books to read.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember the Purple Pool. I'd stay in Barnes and Nobles going and getting these books, and Diary Wimpy Kid. If you get them reading right at a young age and get a love for reading, then you'll see them. Their mind will start developing.
Yeah.
And I think that's too. We don't have them reading. We rather have them play video games.
Yeah.
Oh, they can play Madden and they can play NBA and all this.
Fortnite
They still
Yeah, and
can't read.
I know a 10-year-old who actually is into reading and does a lot of reading, and he sees this movement and he's like, "Oh man, you should get a blog and this and that and that." I'm like, "Hold on, what you know about all this?"
Right.
I don't even know a lot about all
Yeah.
this, but his reading and his knowledge of things, that's what got his mind so sharp like that, and we need to see more. He was 10 years old, and I'm like, okay, well, hey, I'm gonna get that laptop, and you're gonna be my blog runner. You're gonna be in charge of all my
And
blogs.
that's good.
But
You
Right.
could probably, know what you're doing on
Right.
this.
But you might say, by doing that, you might save a child. That child might not be in the street shooting someone. I think that's where it all starts. All this goes hand in hand to violence, right? And then I know you want to talk on the black crimes, and I have a theory about that too. I just think all that plays a role, from parenting to
It's
to
all
reading.
intersectional.
It's all, and it's not, and that's why I say I hate when people just labelize guns, because it's not just guns. Because we could take away guns. Timothy McVeigh didn't use no gun. We could take away all that stuff, and we still gonna have mass shooting. What's that? The preacher that had him out there in the camp, and they drunk the Kool-Aid and killed themselves.
Jim Jones.
Yeah, Jim Jones, right? And they killed themselves at the camp, right? He didn't have no gun. So, and the Charles Manson with the people, I don't think he used guns. Didn't he use like knives and Jack the Ripper?
remember.
Jack the Ripper wasn't using no
Yeah.
gun.
Again, it gets back to that mindset, and I wanted to also talk about how we have stigmatized mental health so bad that people are even afraid to go in and speak about these issues. So many times I'm like the Facebook community therapist, somebody called me. Kimberly's a community therapist. Because I see postings for people who are like, asking for help, and then we downplay it, or we laugh, and that has to stop. We need to start embracing those who are reaching out for help. Again, violence is all intersectional. It's all related.
And I most certainly
It's all
can
related.
I can vouch for her on that too. She just hit me up about a mutual friend we had that had a few depression posts.
Yeah.
And she said, "Hey, we need to reach out to him."
Right.
So she's very active in it, and I was familiar. It was a friend of mine's, and I didn't do the actual I just commented on that, bro. I need you in this. We about to get back into it. So try to give him some inspiration.
Yeah.
But she don't even know him, but she wanted to
Right.
reach out to him, and So I appreciate her and people like her in the community that's actually not just talking about it; they actually being about it, making the moves.
We got to be about that, and so that's a good line to bring us in to actually listen to. I won't call him Mackalot, yeah. I just won't. But Jonathan Davis, aka Mackalot, has a new movement to actually, target gun violence and putting the guns down. So we're going to do a short interlude to his new release. Do you want to say anything before we go into it?
Oh, yeah. I just want y'all to tune in. This one's for all the fathers out there that's raising their kids, that has kids to raise. They need you to raise them. They need you to be there for them. And a lot of our fathers is either dead or in the pen. So we need to change that, and we got to be there. So we got to put the gun down, because that ain't going to get us nowhere but dead or in jail. So just like you could kill somebody could kill you. Your name could be in the paper too.
That's
so
all right.
The gun down movement.
Yeah, so we'll do I think it's about 3 minutes of 45-second interlude. Listen in, and we'll be right back to talk about it.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Mackalot, yeah. It's on us. It's time to change. We gotta make the change. When I speak for the streets, we gotta speak for the peace. Yeah. We gotta show them the way, and that's gangsta. It's time to change, so put the gun down. You got a daughter or a son now, and they don't wanna see you gunned down or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around. It's time to change, so put the gun down. You got a daughter or a son now, and they don't wanna see you gunned down or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around. It's time to change, so put the gun down. You got a daughter or a son now, and they don't wanna see you gunned down or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around. You got a daughter plus a son on the way too. Break the cycle if your daddy didn't raise you. It's a struggle, but if you hustle, you can make it through. It ain't a game, cause your name could be in the paper too. You love the streets, but they don't love you like they say they do. And when it's either you or them, they gon' say it's you. Boy, I'm telling you, your best friend are telling you. Wolf tickets, the only thing they selling you. So put the gun down, it ain't that really fun now. They killing kids, real homies losing sons now. Anybody hit, no matter where you from now. Too much violence from sun up to sundown. Black on black, blue on black, I'm getting tired of that. Another black man dead, I'm getting tired of that. Black man to the fence, I'm getting tired of that. Black man getting bread, we gon' try that. It's time to change, so put the gun down. You got a daughter or a son now, and they don't wanna see you gunned down or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around. It's time to change, so put the gun down. You got a daughter or a son now, and they don't wanna see you gunned down or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around. Mama gone, daddy gone, you all on your own. Don't let the next man do it, you can raise your own. Sit on your throne, cause you a king in your kids' eyes. It should hurt your whole soul to hear your kids cry. Daddy gone, they gon' ask why. Time you could've spent with them, that's gonna pass by. We gotta lead by example, gotta show the youth. Don't talk change, be change, that'll show them proof. Show them truth, cause the lies been deceiving them. They gotta know, they the future, we believe in them. They gotta know, greatness is what we see in them. No father figure at the time they really needing them. It's time to change, so put the gun down. You got a daughter or a son now, and they don't wanna see you gunned down or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around. It's time to change, so put the gun down. You got a daughter or a son now, and they don't wanna see you gunned down or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around. It's time to change, so put the gun down. You got a daughter or a son now, and they don't wanna see you gunned down or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around. Or locked up. Hell of years and can't come around.
Everyone, and thank you for tuning in. That was Put the Guns Down.
Gun down.
Gun down. So let's just some of the right now was the first time it really resonated with me. I think because of the ear.
Yes, in your ears.
Ear
It's all in
set.
your ears.
So it's in my ear, and just a couple lines that I wanted to take. The first one is, the youth needing to see that greatness is what we see in them. That resonated in my heart because I feel like a lot of times youth or persons who are committing these acts may not understand their greatness, may not understand their truths and their potential. And I'm speculating. I'm not saying that this is what they're feeling. This is what they're feeling. I'm speculating.
Yeah.
But however, through our conversations about shifting the mindset of people, and talking to our youth and the fact that many lack those opportunities.
Yeah, and they doing this, and it's a lot of talent that's thrown away. A lot of these youth that's throwing their life away, they talented in different areas, not just sports. They could be good on computers, was great students. It's just so much talent that gets thrown away. And sometimes they don't even know they have that talent because ain't nobody told them, ain't nobody pushed them, ain't nobody tried to help get them to that level, So they never knew it was in them, So we got to push them and let them know that greatness is in them. We see this. Like I was just saying about the 10-year-old that was talking about the blog.
Right.
I had to let him know, man, I see you being this
great
computer scientist.
Yeah.
This great person. So you got to let them know, like, I'm like, I don't even know about blogs and computer technology like that. You advanced more than me on this already at 10. So that's something, a greatness that's already in him, and you just got to help him see it.
Exactly. And, when a life is lost, it affects so many people. It affects, the family that's directly related to the victim. It affects the community. It affects their friends.
Yeah.
And it's just this whole domino effect. And I think a lot of times we miss opportunities to even motivate or empower kids. And, and even when they're institutionalized, like, why are we not using a more habilitative, therapeutic approach to how we are dealing with those who are inflicting the actual harm? We're not even talking about them yet. That conversation, we're not even there yet to get into the mindset of those who are inflicting the crime. Like, what are they thinking? How are they feeling? Why do they feel as if, shooting that person or inflicting harm on that person is the only way out?
Because that's all they've shown. That's all they know. That's all a lot of them know. That's all a lot of them been told, and there's no leaders to show them different,
Right.
So there has to be somebody to show them different, to show them that we can make the steps and we can make the changes in life to get further. And but without that mentorship, it's hard. Like I would say, like when they getting released, you got to tackle like the at-risk youth. Like when the ones getting released from juvenile, give them some kind of mentorship. Make sure they get to some kind of program to where they get on the right path. When you go to juvenile in the jail, that ain't real rehabilitation.
Not at all.
They don't rehabilitate you.
No.
They don't. That's not what jail and prison is for. That's what it's supposed to be for, but that's not what's going on. So when they get released from these institutions, yeah, have them join mentorships. Have them give them cards. When you give them all their stuff, also give them that packet, that paperwork with different mentors, mentorship programs they can join, they can include, so they won't end up back there. But they don't. They just expect them to come right back. So, and which they do.
Yeah, because the cycle of violence and the cycle of institution is so real, and we are not having. Now, I just want to say a couple things. Number one, no one here is saying that you need to go out and get a belt and just start beating your kids, because that, when we inflict aggression, sometimes kids will be aggressive in return. I think that we also, so with that being said, it's also about talking to your kids.
Yeah.
Having heart-to-heart talk conversations about what is going on with them. That needs to happen hands down, consistently and constantly. We need to be having conversations. And if someone is criminalized or institutionalized, you know, they're not immune to not having those conversations as well. Accountability goes a long way, a long way.
And then we also got to look at it like too, what's going on in these prisons and stuff. Now it's like fun to go to prison. Like they got TVs and phones and videos, and they having more fun living life more than a lot of people out here, you know. So I like I said, I wasn't into crime like that. I went to spend 3 days in jail for 2 days in jail for driving on a suspended license. Oh man, that told me right then, this is not, I'm too outgoing for this. I don't want to be stuck in nobody's box. This ain't for me. Jail ain't for me. I got to fly the right way, you know? So, and that's how my outlook on life is. And since, you know, I was doing some things growing up, you know, but I knew I had to make a change. And what helped me make that change is when I was 19, I had a son. Mm-hmm. And so that's where the message in this song comes. You got a daughter or a son now.
Right. Right.
'Cause that if don't nothing else change you, that should help change you right there. That should change you. I feel like God put my son in my life for a reason. You know, now I had something to live for, or I would have been on a whole different page. So I just want to let people know and get that message out there now that your kids need you involved in them, you know. And I have never been even in a relationship with my son's mother, but I have always had a relationship with my child. I didn't get ran away. I knew I had to be there no matter what the situation was, what me and the mom went through. I didn't let none of that push me away from my child. I've been there since day one, and you know, he'll be graduating and
congratulations
this week actually.
Oh really? Oh, congratulations. Yeah. And I smile because just seeing him, I remember seeing him when he was doing a little track and Pop Warner, and Jesus, he's graduating. Congratulations. But one thing that I do want to say in retrospect to that is that even like for me, you know, I've never been in that lifestyle. Like I went to school, I graduated, and I did what I needed to do as a mom. So I never experienced any of that personally. However, this situation affects me because I'm a mother and I have 3 sons. Yeah. I have 3 sons, and my sons are very pillared. They're very, you know, they do what they need to do. My kids get great grades. However, as a mom, hearing about these crimes and these situations, I'm scared for them. I'm scared for them to even just ride the bus and just be, you know, in the community at the mall and playing outside. It's like so violence and what's going on in our city.
And that's all we did as kids. We played outside. We, you know, long as we was in the house before the street lights came on, everything was fine.
Listen, the street lights better not hit you. Bet not come on before your home. But so with that being said, with this being said, everything that is going on in this community affects us all as individuals, as community members. We all have a responsibility to speak up about what's going on in the community. Not only speaking up, but have a real solution. There can be 899 comments, but if there ain't 899 people who are actually stepping up for a solution of change, then all we're going to do is continue a conversation. The streets need to be triaged.
Exactly.
Okay, there needs to be therapists and social workers and doctors and advocates by the boatload in these communities.
And that's why I'm sending this message through music, because music is very powerful. Yeah. People listen to music. These kids listen to music. They're influenced by the music.
Absolutely.
You know, they want to do these things. They want to sip lean and pop pills and do all this stuff through music. They heard it through music. So if we start pushing some positivity through music, they gonna get on board on that. So that's what we gotta push. That's what the gun down movement is for. That's why I'm pushing it and opening it up to others, and doing the whole gun down movement cipher, where we're gonna go city to city with this and have an Oakland gun down cipher, where artists is speaking positivity through in the youth through music.
Push books, not guns.
Exactly.
Push goals and help these children create a mindset. Okay, a mindset of knowing that their lives are valued, that they are great, and then that there are outlets. And again, we need to start re-evaluating our educational system and what we are teaching these kids. When people feel hopeless, and I'm speaking as a therapist now, when people think hopeless, they feel hopeless. And when people feel hopeless, then they don't care about the decisions and choices that they are making because they feel hopeless. And that's a problem. So again, the mindset and really creating platforms of change is what's needed. Don't come at me with 12,000 comments, but you can't pick up a pencil or take your time and grab some of these kids. Each one reach one.
Exactly.
If you have nothing but an hour a week, take that hour a week and go and grab a kid that may need that conversation.
And that's what it's all about, and you can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. Like, too, I miss my big truck I used to have, because I used to give kids rides to football practices, to games. But I didn't bought cleats for kids. I didn't,
Yeah.
I tried to do it. Even the parent tried to give me I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't do that because y'all didn't have the money. I did that off the heart. I wanted to do that. So it wasn't about that. So that's what we have to teach and preach out here and be there. Like I said, if you going to talk it, you got to be about it. Yeah, I see all kind of people that talk the talk, but you see nobody out there. You don't see nobody that's reaching these youth. And I would just, I had to bring up this moment. I kind of shared a little bit of it. Just the other day, I was driving down the street, and out of nowhere, a rock hit my window. So I look in the direction as the rock came from, because there was no cars in front of me to kick up a rock, and I see two little black young men, about 10 years old. So I said, wow, that could have caused an accident.
A major accident.
Could have took my life, and they don't even know. They don't even know throwing that rock could have threw their life away. So I had to make sure I turned around, did a U-turn. They didn't even see me. And I pulled up on them, and I had a conversation with them, and I helped mentor them, the two young men, and try to give them some solution and let them know that that's not the way to go. You can't do that. I had to let them know there's more to life. You're going to throw your life away throwing a rock. And I felt like God put me there, because I wasn't supposed to even be going that way. Something happened that made me go that way. And so I felt like I was put there. And then I come to find out, I knew the boy's mama and auntie. So, Stockton is small. So that's another thing. Everybody is almost family. Everybody know each other out here. So when you killing somebody, you probably hurting one of your family members. One of your friends is hurt. They probably know that person. So now they got to cry, and they got to go through the motions and stuff, all because you didn't think about that. So that's why, me knowing everybody, I say I could never harm anybody, because if I harm that person, I know it's one of my people's.
And thank you for sharing that, because again, it's those opportunities that you are instilling some hope, and you never know how far that conversation may go with those young men, in regardless to the age. I've had situation where kids, and I don't even remember them. I don't even remember these kids. I had kids come up to me to this day that I've seen in clinic 5 years ago. Thank you, Miss Kimberly. Because seeing you changed my life, and now I'm a nurse now. Thank you, Miss Kimberly.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I called the kids auntie and told them about the situation, told her I got it on video, told her, and I said, you know what? She said, okay, send me the video. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? No, them kids don't need to get in no further trouble.
Yeah.
I said, let them take my talk and my mentorship. It'll work better if they don't go home and the mama get on them. Let him know that they got young men out here that's going to mentor them and going to lead them in the right direction. So, you know, and that's what my older homies did when they put me in my place about something. They didn't run home and tell my mother. So it worked a lot bigger on that. So I just wanted to add that part in, because I made sure I told Auntie, don't make sure they don't get in trouble at home, because that will kind of mess up my whole what I'm trying to do here, and they won't trust.
Yeah,
they won't
the
put
trust.
the trust.
Yeah,
You know,
the
you want the
trust
youth
is
to
real.
trust you. If you're gonna get behind them and mentor them, they gotta have that trust in you. And little kids these days, they oh man, his talk, and then he went and told on me now and then. So I just want them to. It'll work more if they didn't get in for any further trouble. So I'm glad you brought that part up.
We plant seeds, and you never know when those seeds grow. And so with that being said, we appreciate your time and all your efforts and this movement. I'm very proud of you and everything that you're doing. And I do want to commend those organizations and advocates in the community who are at the forefront of these conversations of change and hope that we need to and must instill in our communities. Community first. And it's not it's not you, it's us.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of us, and it's going to take all of us in order to reshift the narrative of what's going on in Stockton. So I thank you for your time. Thank you to Mr. Clay, who had to leave to his next appointment. I thank everyone for tuning in to the Live with Kimberly show. I hope to have you back in the near future.
And I do want to thank you and let you know I appreciate you. I know you probably the one that's always thanking and giving out the appreciations.
Oh.
And nobody probably say enough about you. You know, from my understanding, you're not no city official, you any of that. So what you're doing for the city, you're doing off the kindness of your heart. So I know it's true and dear. So I just want to thank you and let you know that I appreciate women like yourself that's out here trying to make a change, you know, because that's what we need out here. And there's a few other women, ladies out here, and I see y'all, you know,
Right.
I see y'all, and that's what we need. Y'all been the ones really putting in the work. These ladies out here that's standing up, and for the last few years, Stockton owes a lot of credit to you women. So y'all keep up doing the good work that y'all do. Kimberly, keep this good outlet going for the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And again, the Voice of Stockton is a nonprofit. We utilize donations that are received through the community to continue this platform of hope and change to the community. I also want to invite everyone to my Live with Kimberly conversations that happen on Friday. Every single Friday of the week, I do a free clinic at my office at 31 South San Joaquin Street to bring healing and recovery to the community. Free services, y'all. Free services. Thank you for tuning in. Please follow us on the Voice of San Joaquin and our Kimberly Warmsley's Therapeutic and Trauma Services. We thank you, everybody. Enjoy your Memorial Day, and we will see you on next Monday for another episode. Thank you.
Make sure
everyone.
y'all get that new single, Gun Down, on all outlets.
All right, we're going to follow you on this movement. Congratulations, and let me know if there's anything I can do. Thank you, everybody. We're tuning out. Have a safe Monday. Bye.